Hi, welcome to Astrobabble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology,
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
and today we are going to be talking about the full moon in Aries.
Mm,
We'll also be covering the horoscopes, the moon mansions, and a stone. And while you are doing that, I will talk about the moon mansion. It is the first moon mansion, so we haven't really covered this one before. It's indicative of it's in the horns of Aries, being the first moon mansion. And it is of the nature of Mars and Saturn, which is very interesting, as that is the last aspect we will have for this lunation. It reflects dynamic force. It has the power of destruction as well as creation. It'll change the status quo as well as it's good for overcoming illnesses because it has that driving force, which is nice. And it is good for journeys. Very nice. It's a manageable, even though they're the two malefic stars it's representative by, or the nature of. It can be definitely used for work and getting the hard work done.
nice, very nice. And full moons are all about culminations or completion or endings. This full moon in Aries, so it's ruled by Mars, and Mars is opposite in the sign of Libra. So not a very strong ruling planet for this full moon, because Mars in Libra is in detriment because Libra is ruled by Venus. Saturn is in inversion though, because Saturn's in the sign next to Aries. It's in Pisces. So it's like it's in its blind spot. You can't see it. So that's good. But unfortunately, Jupiter in Taurus is also in that blind spot. So we call that inversion. And Venus, what's Venus making? A trine. So that's something that's a little bit helpful. Wow. I'm just looking, wow, that Mercury's just about to get out of its shadow period, because I think Mercury's stationed at 21 Virgo. So Mercury's at 20 Virgo and coming up to like our last lunation, which was the new moon in Virgo, was at 21. So yeah, interesting.
And Mercury can be heard right now. It's out from underneath the beam, so
Yeah.
and it's in its own sign, so very nice.
Strong Mercury. That Mars, as well as being in the sign of its detriment, is kind of quite close to the South Node too, which does tend to decrease. So interesting. Well, shall we have a look at
Mm.
the horoscopes for this full moon?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I was just looking at the trine with Mercury, Pluto, and Uranus seems to it seems like a lot of conversation that can be changing
Yeah,
situations.
transformative but unusual, unexpected, some changes. Yeah, just unexpected changes.
Full moons are all about culminations. It's about things that you have worked to procure, and hopefully things will be coming to fruition for you. Lynda and I talk about the ascendant a lot. So if you want to check out the episode that we did of why you should read your ascendant, maybe we could put a link into that for that. But if you are an Aries rising, this is things that you're going to be that will be coming to you that you've worked for that are just for yourself. So if you had enrolled in a class, you might be finishing it up and graduating from it. If you wanted to work on, whatever for yourself, this would be a time when it would be coming fruition and coming to you. And hopefully more developed than when you started it, probably about 6 months ago. So if you look about 6 months ago, these are things that are wrapping up or coming to you that you have worked on 6 months ago.
And if you are a Pisces ascendant, this full moon is happening in your second house. The second house is associated with our personal finances and income. So this could be a bonus coming to you at this time. This could be a new source of income. It could be a one-off thing. It could be something to do with a resource that's useful to you. So maybe you are gifted or you acquire yourself something that's quite helpful to you, Or, it could be things like you've been saving for something and, maybe you reach your goal at this time. Mars is in the 8th house at this time. It's not in strong position. It is with the South Node. So if you're relying on somebody else or joint finances or a bank or something, might be a little bit disappointing. It might not be as significant as you think, but, there is something here. There's a high point, culmination, or an ending, but it may not be as big as you hoped.
A bit lackluster.
Yeah.
And then if you are an Aquarius rising, this is going to be happening in your 3rd house. And the 3rd house is your house of community. It's your house of early education. It's also the house of your brothers and sisters, possibly even cousins and people you grew up with. It's also communication and business. So the 3rd house is things that you are will be coming to fruition in those areas of your life, younger education and your community, which is nice.
And if you are a Capricorn ascendant, this full moon is happening in your 4th house. The 4th house includes our parents, family in general, our homes, our living situation, also things like homeland, heritage. So there might be some high point or culmination to do with these matters. It might not have anything much to do with you at all. It might be something that's happening to your parents, but it could also involve your home or living situation. So, you could be moving into somewhere new, maybe you've just moved into that new place or put in a bid that's been accepted, or it could be an ending, maybe somebody is leaving the home at this time.
And if you're a Sagittarius rising, this full moon is going to be happening in your 5th house. And the 5th house is your creativity. It's also your hobbies. It could have to do with your children as well. This is the things that you create. So these will be coming to fruition around this time, around this full moon in those areas of hobbies. Or if you had concert tickets, maybe you bought the concert tickets like 6 months ago and you're finally able to go to that concert now. This would be reflective of that kind of aspect.
Nice. And if you are a Scorpio ascendant, this full moon is happening in your 6th house. The 6th house can be, it's one of the troubling houses because it is associated with illness, but it also includes things like employees, sometimes those that you work with. It covers people that work or serve others. So that can include doctors, nurses, first responders, and also pets. So this could be a high point, culmination, or an ending to do with one of those matters. It could be somebody that works for you or works with you is leaving. It could be, in the case of doctors, nurses, first responders, or even your pets, maybe they've been undergoing some training and, there's a high point, a graduation or something similar at this point. Or it could relate to illness. You would hope that that would mean the ending of an illness.
And if you are a Libra ascendant, this is going to be happening in your 7th house. This house is the house of the one other. So things will be coming to fruition or culmination surrounding maybe appointments that you might have with a lawyer or a hairdresser, a dentist, or things that might be coming together with that you've been working on with your significant other, because this is the one-on-one relationships. These are the relationships that you have a commitment with one other person, not a group, but just one other person. So this will be a nice time to maybe get some work done.
And if you are a Virgo ascendant, this full moon is in your 8th house. The 8th house is another troubling house. It's associated with mortality. It is also shared finances and resources. So this can include things like inheritances, wills, taxes, insurance, joint financial agreements, loans, debts. There could be a high point. So maybe you're getting a loan at this time, or you're joining your finances with somebody else, or it could even be an ending in that, maybe you have been in a relationship with someone, you're separating, but you've been squabbling over finances. Maybe at this time, yeah, a settlement agreement is reached at this time. Yeah. Or it could be, you've been waiting for probate on a will and, it comes at this time.
And if you are a Leo rising, this is going to be happening in your ninth house. The ninth house is the house of legal action. It's also the house of philosophy, religion, as well as higher education. So anything that you have been working for, think about, 6 months ago, where did you start enrolling in a class? Is it coming together? Are you, more involved in a lawsuit, or are you more involved in, any kind of higher education or religion or even there was some part in here with the astrology. If you have been listening to astrology and you are, maybe wanting to take a class, this might be when you decide to actually, do it more seriously.
Or if you've been
It'll come to
studying it,
fruition.
yeah, if you've been studying it, maybe you sit for the test now or something similar. Yeah. And if you are a Cancer ascendant, this full moon is happening in your 10th house. 10th house is associated with our career and public reputation. This is a very visible house. You've got the full moon, which shines a full bright light. You've got people's attention at this time, hopefully for good reasons. This might be a time of completion. It could be wrapping up a project at work, or if you've been working towards something, this could be for whatever reason you're gaining attention. This could be you're having a baby, you're getting married. It could be any number of things. Hopefully good things, but this is also usually it's considered a good house, but it is also not only fame but infamy. So if you've been misbehaving, you may also have the spotlight on you at this time. But yeah, generally a good house. It's considered a good house, so usually it wouldn't be a big issue.
And if you are a Gemini rising, this is going to be happening. This full moon is going to be happening in your 11th house. The 11th house is the house of friends, groups, the house of your hopes and dreams. So whatever you've been working on, if you had a dream to, even get a new couch, this this would be coming to fruition. I mean, you might actually decide to, actually do it. If you are a Gemini rising, this is where that full moon's going to be happening for you. So, think back, what were you doing? What were you working on? And is any of that coming together for you? Please let us know in the comments if you do.
And if you are a Taurus ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. 12th house is another one of the more troubling houses. It's associated with our undoing. So this can be addictions, bad habits, self-defeating habits, escapism. It's also places of confinement, such as prisons, hospitals, or retreats. Can be, working behind the scenes. So this may be a time where, for whatever reason, you're kind of taking yourself out and away from what's familiar and what's your usual scene. It can also be a place of exile, which can include being just overseas. Full moons are about completions or endings. So, if you have been working behind the scenes or away or, on some sort of retreat, maybe you're wrapping that up and you're going to become more visible or move back into what is more familiar with you. When it comes to our undoing, self-defeating habits, etc., there could be a high point, particularly like, they say with addictions, it's a case of sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. That could be a so-called high point or an ending, or, because when you're at rock bottom, you can only go up. This could be, you're being released from something, prison, hospital, maybe there's been some course of treatment, or you've had some bad habit, maybe you kick the habit at this time. So, yeah. And Donna, do you have a stone for us?
I absolutely do. This is a stone that it's a rare stone. This is called a prophecy stone. It has the same feeling as a tektite. This is only found in the Libyan desert where Libyan glass is found. It is a very cool energy stone. It's got they don't know what it's really made out of. You can see that it's rusted like right here. So they believe that it's iron, that there's iron in here as well. I think from what I have gleaned from these stones is that there is iron in them. They're found in the Libyan desert, in the same area as the Libyan glass is found and the other tektites. It has that same feel as a tektite, which is it's smooth. It's almost like it's been, very heated. And I have another stone that gave me that same feeling that they're heated. This was found by a guy who, when he found these, was experienced prophetic dreams. Is that how you enunciate that word? This is got the element of earth. I think because of the iron. It's also heavy. I mean, they're heavy. They're a heavier stone for their size. They are associated with the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth chakra, as well as the Earth Star chakra. So there's a lot of chakras that these do, and they're basically the upper ones, because they have a grounding light energy, and what that means is the information that you get from above, and instead of the kundalini, which is at the base of your spine and it goes up to give you insight, this is meant to retrieve information from above, from the soul star. So that's how these typically work, and they're very interesting stones. So I thought you would enjoy seeing them. Some believe that they release cellular toxins, which is another good thing that they do, because, I like stones. I think this stone works well and better with other stones to enhance it. I might do something that would reflect using all of these stones together, because they kind of almost fit. Fit together. We really can't. Anyways, this is called Prophecy Stone.
Nice.
And I will be writing an article about those, a blog.
Well, shall we have a look at the upcoming aspects?
First aspect is going to happen on September 29th in the United States. It is going to be Venus squares Uranus, it's one of the 3 squares that it's had so far. It's a good energy. I can remember exactly what I was doing for this first one. So whatever you are doing, it's the retrogrades and those back and forths and this is why Venus is hitting Uranus again by square, is because of the retrogrades that they were both doing. Well, that Venus is doing, I think, mainly. Yeah, what you want to do is you want to mix up your love life. You, in a way, like if you always go to car shows, go to a scrapbooking store. If you always, are working on a car, then go sledding. Just do something different, with that would mix up your relationships. It could also give your relationships another mix up, as far as past relationships might come in, but that's more for the Venus retrograde. This would be something that would just shockingly happen to a relationship. This could be the aspect that sparks it off. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, as Donna said, this is the third in 3 Venus square Uranus aspects we've had this year. We had the first one when Venus was direct. Then we had one when Venus was retrograde, and this is now the third one with Venus direct again. If you can think back to what happened while Venus was retrograde, which was from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September, particularly in relation to whatever was happening in Leo, this might be the it may be related to what was going on. If you had something significant happening in, probably related to where Leo is in your chart, yeah, it may be related to that. So whatever was kind of unearthed during Venus retrograde, this might be kind of a cleanup, or, kind of some sort of culmination, or the final bit of the puzzle related to that matter. Yeah, Venus, Uranus, it's square. They're both fixed signs, so they're not awfully comfortable with change in general. But, Uranus has been in Taurus for a while. This is, adjustments may need to be made. Hopefully, this should be good in the long run. You may not feel comfortable with it at the moment, but Uranus is often associated with bringing us some sort of freedom. So not necessarily easily won, though. It might be a hard won freedom, but hopefully it should be better for you.
And then the next aspect is going to be Mercury trine Uranus. This is a good aspect for getting new ideas, new study. This is also good for start the study of astrology, because this is those planets that are involved with that. And technology as well is a good energy for this kind of aspect.
Yeah, this is happening on the 30th in the United States. Great ideas, innovative ideas, quick thinking. For some, this may be like a little bit jangled, I suppose. If you got a lot going on, it can be a little bit overwhelming for some people. But look, this is excitement. This is innovative. This is avant-garde. This is the different, thinking outside the box. It should be positive, hopefully. I mean, looking at that Jupiter very close to Uranus too. So the push to go big is strong. But yeah, look, I think this is kind of exciting. I quite like Uranus, Mercury, but some people may find it a bit more troubling. But yeah, no, it's nice.
Yeah, I think this would, if you have, like you were saying, if you have jangled nerves, this could be a challenging day. But if you are looking for, a new way to approach something, this is a great day for that, just to help get that mental capabilities, and that Uranus provides that fresh idea. I really like, yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
Definitely
particularly if you've got something at, say, 22 degrees, particularly a Virgo or Taurus, if it's hitting one of your natal planets, and depending on what that natal planet is, it might be a little bit much. But Mercury's moving pretty quick at this time. It's moving at 166% of its usual speed. Yeah, so it's going to pass quickly. If it's jangled nerves, just try and take breaks, and just think it'll be over soon.
yes, all the transits pass. They move on. Oh, and so the next aspect we have is going to occur on October 2nd, and that's going to be Mercury is going to oppose Neptune, which is not a day to be signing contracts, not a day to be making deals and having, definitive agreements, because this is a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misunderstandings, as well as mental confusion, just plain not checking in right now. So take it easy on yourself on this day.
Yeah. Yeah, that Neptune can be rather foggy, cloudy, can be confusion, could also be deception. So, if somebody's telling you something and you're kind of, I'm not so sure about that, maybe trust your gut. Yeah, Mercury opposite or square Neptune often works as almost like a mini Mercury retrograde. And it's interesting that we've just had Mercury come out of that retrograde. But Mercury's in Virgo. It's a good sign. It's out from under the beams. But that Virgo likes to be very analytical, and that Neptune's, it's anything but. So could be a good time for creative stuff. But yeah, not a day for strict logic if you can help it.
Even though Mercury is out from under the shadow period that it had during the retrograde, it's out from the shadow period as of the 29th. So
yeah, but that
you can't blame that anymore.
Yeah, that Neptune is still it reminds me very much of a very mini Mercury retrograde. But yeah, look, at this stage, which is, we were saying with the previous aspect, it was traveling at 166% of its usual speed. A day later, it's traveling at 173%. This is a fast moving Mercury. So it's going to clear Neptune. You know, if you can just, great time to just daydream, you know, get creative. Could be a great time for something idealistic, you know, but yeah, there is the possibility of deception. There is possibility of just having a foggy head. So, and then we have Mercury trine Pluto on the 3rd of October. So Mercury is traveling at 176% of its usual speed at this time. It's coming up close to making another conjunction with the sun. It's coming up to its superior conjunction. But what day did you say that would be? The 20th of October or something?
For
We were talking earlier before the podcast for the Cazimi.
oh yes, the Cazimi for Sun conjunct Mercury will happen on October 20th. Yeah.
Yeah. When Mercury is coming up to the sun, same with Venus, they get, you know, as fast as they get. So Mercury's racing up to catch up with that sun. Actually, it's going under the beams now. Yeah. But
It was only out for a little bit.
yeah. When Mercury's within 15 degrees of the sun, or any of the planets within 15 degrees of the sun, we say it's under the beams. It's like it's overshadowed by the sun. Could be a good time for working behind the scenes, particularly as we're talking about Mercury trine Pluto. Pluto also likes to kind of work behind the scenes. It can be about power plays. It can be very good for in-depth, transformative thinking. It's about being very honest and just kind of, this could be a great time for working behind the scenes and maybe doing some inner work, perhaps, you know, or
It's a good time for digging
transforming your
deep.
thinking. Sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry. It's a good time for digging deep. It's you know, if you're trying to research you know, any particular project, if you want to dig deep for something and get to the bottom of an issue, this is a good transit to do that under. I think it'd be great for genealogy, you know, because you want to dig deep for that
Mm,
all that information, and as well it's good for serious communications. I mean, so those serious talks, those transformative talks are also
mm.
a possibility.
This could also be obsessive thoughts too, you know, so because sometimes that Pluto,
Mm,
it can blow things up. How's it go? Turns big things small and small things big. You know, it can be
yes.
that laser focus. So yeah, something to watch for. And then on the 4th of October, we have Mercury entering Libra. So Mercury's finally leaving Virgo because it was in Virgo for quite a while. I don't have the date that it went into Virgo, but it did retrograde there. So it spent a lot longer in Virgo than it usually does. So it's going to lose some of its essential dignity because in Virgo, it was not only in a sign that it ruled, which we call domicile, which meaning like it's in its home, it was also exalted. It was able to work exceptionally well in that sign. But, you know, look, I quite like Mercury in Libra. It's a social sign. It's just nice. So we're going to have the Sun and Mercury both in Libra. We've also got Mars there, but Mars will move on. And actually, Mars is going to move on a little bit, one of the aspects we talk about soon. So it's not going to be hanging around for too long. This is nice. Wherever Libra is in your chart, you've got the sun there. So, you know, that's a focus for probably another 2 weeks. And you're also going to have Mercury there. And not only that, you're going to have the Cazimi in Libra, I should imagine. So, oh, actually, when did we say the 20th? So what's that, 16 days? Oh, yeah, probably at the very end of Libra.
Mercury with, you know, you got to love Mercury in Libra for only the fact of you're having communications that involve everybody that are, you know, it's a social. Mercury's a social planet, Libra's a social sign. So I think this is a great fit.
Yeah. And then on the 8th of October, we have Mars square Pluto, which, yeah, talk about ouch. Particularly if you do have natal planets around about 27 degrees of the cardinal signs. So that's Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra. We've got Mars at 27 Libra. We've got Pluto at 27 Capricorn. Yeah, this is interesting because Pluto is going to station we're going to get to that in a couple of aspects. So when Pluto is stationing, well, when any of the outers, I don't personally notice them stationing so much unless they're on a natal planet. I mean, yes, it'll be in whatever house it's in for you, but unless you've got it, making a connection to a natal planet, you probably don't notice it that much. It's more generational, like, everybody's going through it. But yeah, if you've got something at 27 degrees of the cardinal signs, this could be a bit of a crunch time. Mars, it's not comfortable in Libra. It's with the South Node, which hopefully will kind of lessen its ability to kind of do some damage. But there's no guarantee. The South Node can be kind of malefic in itself. This could be combustible. I wouldn't go picking a fight on this day. Put it that way.
Yeah, this is definitely a good day to mind your P's and Q's, making sure that your surroundings are safe, that you're with safe people. You could run into very aggressive people that have a lot of intense anger because, Pluto is that planet of intensity and squaring the malefic. It's in a social situation. It could get very intense. Yeah. So be careful. This is a day to definitely, don't try the if you like walking on all of your legs, then I wouldn't even try going up a ladder because this is very a transformational, planet that Pluto. So if you don't want to if you want to have use of your legs and in the rest of your body, I just it's not a good state to physical risks. Mars is definitely not in a sign where it's strong. So, and Pluto is looking for a change. Pluto is trying to get something out of your life right now. I mean, it's only 2 more times that Mars and Pluto will be aspecting like this until Pluto moves out of Capricorn. So if you are in the cardinal signs, it's trying to get you to change on something. So just make sure you're safe. As Lynda said, don't pick up fights.
Yes, not the day to pick a fight.
Yeah.
And then on the 8th of October, we have Venus entering Virgo. So yeah, this is a sign where Venus is in fall. And I can kind of see how this would be. Venus is about relationships and harmony and art and beauty and aesthetics and all that sort of thing. Virgo's it's ruled by Mercury, and it's a sign where Mercury is exalted and very good at drilling down on detail, but it's very good at noticing little things that aren't quite right. And, that doesn't always make for easy relationships. And, when I think of artist, I don't necessarily think of neat, tidy, follow the rules either. It's kind of, it's a different vibe. Not to say that you can't have artists that are Virgos or anything like that, but yeah, so Venus does lose some essential dignity here. Oh, and then she's going to come up and oppose Saturn. So yeah, great.
Yeah, what I was thinking is that Venus is in Mercury. She's looking for the social aspects, bringing everybody together, and Virgo is no, we've got work to do. We can't have that fun. We need to more of a stickler or a that we have to do. This is what we need to do. We need to be more serious. I think Virgo, that's what it is. Virgo is more serious, where I think Venus is more light and airy and
Mm,
not
yeah.
so not so serious.
Yeah. I'm just looking. Venus is in Mercury's sign. Mercury's in Venus sign. That would usually be helpful, but they're in aversion to each other. They're in the signs right next to each other. So, but yeah, look, Venus is going to be there for till the 8th of November. So Venus is going to be there for a month. Yeah, so you might find yourself noticing that your partner's breathing too much, or breathing too loudly. I kind of went Scorpio there for a minute. They're breathing too much. But yeah, breathing too loudly, you notice that they're chewing too loudly, they're just kind of it's just a little bit prickly for relationships. It can be. But wherever Virgo is in your natal chart, you may have some sort of gift at this time. Venus is one of the benefics, and even though she's in fall, she's still a benefic. She might bring you some nice things. I'm not saying lotto wins or anything, but maybe a nice gift or something sweet. Or so over the next month, that's where you'll be thinking about relationships with people and topics associated with that house.
Venus and Mercury do have mutual reception going on, and Mercury is trying to help Venus. She is a guest in Mercury's house, so there will be a little bit of help with that.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I was just wondering, because they're not actually making an aspect, the fact that they're in aversion. I don't like if Mercury was in Taurus. Yeah, see, if Mercury was in Taurus, that would be helpful. But yeah. Oh well. You can't have everything. And then on the 10th, we have Venus opposite retrograde Saturn. So yeah, this is kind of obligations regarding relationships. And, we were talking about Venus being in Virgo. If you've got to be challenged about your obligations in relationships, it's probably one of the better signs for Venus to be in, though maybe there will be a list of these are all the things I've done. Now, what have you done for me? So, yeah, look, this is, duties, obligations. It is an opposition, so it's challenging, but they're both mutable signs, so that's helpful. So they do have some adaptability. Saturn is retrograde at the moment, so Saturn may be feeling rather restricted, and Saturn is about restrictions and limitations and the planet of no. But when it's retrograde, we can tend to be kind of feeling those limitations a little bit more. So this could be a time where, not necessarily that it's a blow up, but maybe there's a serious talk about, well, look, this is what I'm doing. Are you holding up your end of this relationship? Whether that's a friendship, a romantic relationship, a business relationship, because Venus, it's about relationships. It's not necessarily just romantic relationships.
Yeah. And this is like you were saying, this is a sense of duty, but this is can also be internal dark thoughts and they're not likely to be real. So, this is a quick moving aspect. So all the aspects do pass, but this could be a little hard on yourself if you're feeling like your social game is not up where it needs to be. This might be more internal dialogue than it is external. So, give yourself some grace and some breathing room and it will pass.
Yeah. And then on the 10th of October, we have Pluto stationing direct. And if you have particularly a planet around about 27 degrees of Capricorn, this might be like, again, because, Pluto's been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And also at the end degrees of the other cardinal signs. So that also includes Cancer, Aries, and Libra. You know, Pluto and Mars previously, like, I don't know what date it was. What date was it when it had that square with Mars?
When Pluto squared
The
Mars,
8th.
that was
Yeah.
the 8th.
Yeah. So 2 days prior, we had the Pluto Mars square, which kind of could have been a little bit explosive. And yeah, now Pluto's ready to move forward again. It's not going to get very far. It will, I'm not sure when it does retrograde again, but it retrogrades for about 6 months every year. So I think Pluto.
It'll go all the way into Aquarius, won't it? When it goes direct, it'll go into Aquarius, and then it'll go back into Capricorn.
Yeah, it will get into Aquarius on the 20th of January, 2024, and it will be there until September. So that's something. Yeah, so 20th of January, it will actually move back into Aquarius. But it will only just move in. It won't move in very far because it'll move back into Capricorn in September 2024. So,
Yes. To finish up whatever has not been transformed out of your life.
yeah, it won't move completely out of Capricorn until the 19th of November 2024. And, you know, even then, if you kind of got like 29 degrees Capricorn, it's still going to be really close. But at least it will change sign. So that's something. But yeah, you know, unless you've got a planet or a natal point like a ascendant or an MC or something, the late degrees like 27, 28, 29, maybe even 25, 26, you might not notice this as much.
Yes, because all the planets eventually do move on, which
Yeah.
is nice. It's almost comforting to know that, you're not stuck in whatever kind of
Yeah.
mess you might find yourself in. That all the planets actually do move.
Yeah. And yeah, Pluto can be, if you know, if it's making contacts, it can be quite difficult. So just keep moving.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, challenging.
And then the next aspect is Mars moves into Scorpio. This is the house traditionally that Mars rules. It will get rulership, it'll get strength, it will be very close to trining Saturn. But when Mars moves into Scorpio, things tend to move a little bit easier. It's a water sign, Scorpio. It's as opposed to when Mars moves into Aries, that's a fire sign. This water sign is more emotional. So Mars might be a little bit more emotional.
Yeah, emotionally driven. Let me see how long it will be in Scorpio. Just over a month. So yeah, maybe 5 weeks or something, up to the 24th of November. Yeah, it's a sign that it rules, emotionally driven. It's fixed. So this is good if you want to use that energy of Mars to actually work on something, because you've got that fixed nature as opposed to Aries, which is cardinal, which is really good at initiating, not so good at maintaining. This is good maintaining energy, is emotional. Wherever Scorpio is in your natal chart, you may find that people and topics associated with that house, it might be a little bit more contentious, maybe, you know, more likelihood of fights. If you can use this energy to do something physical, something active, hard work, ambition, you know, just if you can use it constructively, that's always better. But, you know, you can only do what you can do.
Hmm.
And, you know, even if you're being really good and kind of watching your P's and Q's and all that, you know, that's not to say that somebody else doesn't start on you. And Scorpio is not an energy to allow that to kind of happen. Like, I'm a Mars and Scorpio. I won't start on you, but if you start, I will finish it. That's the kind of energy. So,
Pre-warned.
Mm, mm. Oh, Saturn's making a few aspects in this 2-week period as well.
Mhm. We have Mars trine retro Saturn. And this is Mars is got all the power, is in its own sign, and with the trine to Saturn is good energy for like Lynda was saying, the hard work. It's good for the serious work. It's good for making sure that things are stable and constructed right. This is good energy for Mars to get that stability that Saturn you know helps you build.
Yeah, when I see Mars and Saturn, particularly with a trine or a sextile, I often think of like a boxer for Mars and like the trainer for Saturn. It's that older, more stable energy that can kind of help direct that Mars. But as Donna said, this Mars is in the much more powerful position because it's in a sign that it rules. And particularly at this degree, it's in its own decan and it's in its own bounds. So, at this degree, it's a strong Mars. I think it's usually about a 10 at this. It's 8 on this one, but I've seen it at higher, at like 10. And it's in the superior position. It's earlier in zodiacal order than Saturn. So, yeah. And plus, that Saturn, it's also retrograde. So you may find that you're kind of working with rules and regulations going well, but the fact that Saturn is retrograde, maybe look, it's a trine. It should be helpful. I think you can power through this, like literally through sheer force of will. With that Mars. Mars is in much better condition. It's yeah. This is not to hell with the rules or anything. It'll work with the rules. Maybe that Saturn will have you feeling a bit like, oh, why do I have to do this? But once you actually get going, it's in a fixed sign. It can maintain. It can do it. It can just shoulder to the
Rhinestone.
and just push ahead. Yep, just do it. Yeah,
It's serious energy for sure.
yeah. I kind of, because Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, and I know we're talking about Saturn in Pisces, but Saturn rules Capricorn. I kind of Saturn and Mars. It can be really helpful, yeah, to give that Mars actual purpose and direction, and a steady hand. So.
And as I said earlier, this lunation is the nature of Mars and Saturn. So, and in a trine, you can't get those two planets in a better aspect. A trine is a great aspect. It is more helpful. This is the most helpful aspect of when Mars and Saturn get together. So this, contemplate what you can do that you would really need some stick-to-itiveness, some drive, maybe some even restriction, so you don't go overboard, so where there's boundaries is the word I was looking for. Yeah, if you can find a task that you can do on the 13th of October, this would be a good time to do that with that stable kind of energy, that plugging along, that we can do this. We'll just have to,
Mm,
nose to the grindstone or shoulder to the wheel, or
mm,
yeah, it's that kind of energy. But it's I think you can use it very positively.
yeah, good hard working aspect. I keep noticing that Venus too, like Venus is 3 degrees away from that opposition with Saturn, but it's 3 degrees away from a sextile with Mars. I mean, the aspect's already happened, but it's like she's trying to help, but she's in Virgo. She's not in the best position. She's going to have all these suggestions, but she's going to be kind of a bit of a pain. Kind of like, You should have done it this way. I'm like, yeah, that would have been helpful to know before we started. Yeah. But there was also another aspect. I think it might have even been Mars, Pluto. And it's like, well, she's trying to help, but yeah. Look, it can't hurt, you know. And then we have a sneak peek at the new moon in Libra at 21 Libra. Where's Venus? Yeah, so Venus is in aversion to this new moon, which is a shame because it rules the new moon. And Jupiter is in aversion too, but so is Saturn. Oh, and so is Mars. So the malefics can't affect
So nobody talk to this new moon. Maybe it'll go away. No, we don't want it to go away.
Pluto wants to tango.
Yes, Pluto wants to tango. This is going to be the first of our eclipses.
Yeah. Oh wow. Only 3 degrees away. It's a south node eclipse though. Ick.
Well, yeah. This is going to be going visible across the United States.
Oh, is it?
If you go to that, oh yeah. This is the first of the eclipses where this one will go in one direction of an X, and then the next eclipse that we have in the spring will create the other arm of that X right over the United States. So I think there's going to be some huge things. I am definitely going to be journaling on this day. You should be journaling October 12th because Mars goes into Scorpio, as well as October 4th when Mercury goes into Libra, because anytime a planet goes into a new sign, you should be journaling. But this day, I think it's going to be very reflective of seen in like mundane astrology. I think this is going to be very telling.
Interesting.
So I will be journaling.
And even
if you go to that time and date, is it timeanddate.org or .com? I'm not quite sure. But if you go to the eclipses, it'll show you the map of where these eclipses, the path that they actually take. It's a very cool site.
It is a very cool site. Yeah.
We will have the solar eclipse on the 14th, and then there will be a lunar eclipse about 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So that's how the eclipses, they come in pairs, but they actually, with this particular kind of eclipse, and it's going to be on the same path or in the same on the same country. The path will be on the same country as this one, as well as the one on April 8th. So definitely to watch out for.
Yeah, this will be the first of our Libra eclipses. We had the first of the Aries one back in April, and the lunar eclipse on the 28th of October will be the last of the Taurus Scorpio ones. But I was just looking at that Uranus. Even though we don't count as Hellenistic astrologers, we talk about planets being in aversion. We would consider that an aversion, but that's just really interesting because in modern astrology, that would be a inconjunct. And that usually asks for adjustment. And you got Uranus asking for adjustments. So new beginnings, new starts may need to be adapted to. Maybe suddenly something happens and, you thought you were going to go zig and you're going to have to zag instead, perhaps. It would be very interesting. And it's eclipse as well. So very interesting. We'll definitely be doing, we always do our new and full moons, but yes, the eclipses are always exciting, particularly if you do have planets around about those degrees. So yes.
I'm very much watching it as I sit here in the United States.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I knew 2024 they did it. I didn't realize they started this year though. Like the cross, yeah. We'll have to get a graphic of that and put it in the description, perhaps.
Yeah, because it's really cool when you realize, we had done the Aries ingress forecast a year ago, maybe two. And this is going to be, I think this would be a great time to do another one because I love mundane astrology. It's very telling, and it's not based on anybody's natal chart. It's based on the natal charts of the country involved. And usually when eclipses are visible to the country involved, it is, it's for 4,000 years we have the same empirical evidence that we've had, that we built astrology on. And it's the, it can be let us know if we're going to be going to war, a death of a king, how our crops will we be invaded, just it tells you what the country is going to be going through. So with the eclipses right there, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we might have to see where that falls in the Sibley chart, which is the one of the charts that's considered like the birth chart of the USA. So that would be really interesting. We'll have to do that for the next one, I think, for sure. As well as just the normal horoscopes, isn't it? Yes. Donna, where can people find you and what services are you offering?
You can find me at donnabastrology.com, and that's my website. And you can get my contact information there. I offer natal readings as well as electional readings, horary readings, medical as well. And I also do crystal energy healing. So I work with stones on people, and it does not matter whether I am in vicinity of them. I can do it distance healing as well. So, nice. And that's what I do. And Lynda, what are you up to, and where can people get a hold of you?
I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. I offer natal readings, relationship readings, and year ahead readings. So yeah, particularly if you've got planets about 14 degrees Scorpio or 5 degrees Taurus, or any of the fixed signs, yeah, could be interesting to see what's happening in your chart for the upcoming eclipses. So yeah, actually, trying to think. Do you know the degree that the 8th of April one is, where it falls?
No, I don't.
Actually, just hold on, I'll have it here.
Do you have your ephemeris?
No, I've got Bernadette Brady's book. 19 Aries. And then 10 Libra. But 19 Aries is the 8 North. Let's see what it says about that one.
Ooh, 19. Did you say 19 Aries?
Yeah.
That's where the sun is exalted, isn't it?
I think so. Or is it 18? Let me have a look at another book.
The sun is exalted during a solar eclipse on that degree. Ooh, that is very interesting.
Yeah, exaltation of the sun, 19 degrees Aries. And that's Demetra George's book. So, well, I mean, no, not just her, but I was reading that the other day. What did I say this is going to be? 8 North or something? 2024, 8 North. Because solar eclipses come in Saros series. So what does this tell us? Inventiveness and flashes of genius are the hallmarks of the Saros series. The individual will have intuitive leaps, insights, good ideas, visions, or vivid dreams. This newfound inspiration will pull the person away from his or her social life or relationship, thereby causing strain in the private life. This is a time when the person needs to be free, if only for a few weeks. So that could be something very interesting for people with planets. What did we say about 19 Aries? So yeah, the exaltation of the sun. And that's from Bernadette Brady's Predictive Astrology, which is a brilliant book.
Prophetic dreams. Use this stone.
Yeah. Interesting times.
How it all comes together. I knew that stone was right, and it's just
yeah. So yes. Well, thank you for listening. We hope that it's the full moon, isn't it? Yes, full moon's good
Moon
too.
in Aries.
Yes, so we like your comments and your shares. And if you're listening on podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you would rate us. That would be fantastic.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.